Hold on, I need to take a call real quick. 911. Please go to Rochester, New York. I have a distressed Yankees fan. I'm very concerned right now about certain predictions that were made. Yeah, please get over there ASAP.
Ambulance right now, you said?
Yep, the DeSanto house.
Rochester or Miami? Where's the address? Correct address.
First, Rochester. I think we need to resuscitate him first.
Okay.
Thank you.
Got to rescue his spirit from Rochester and go get his body in Miami.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy. Happy New Year, everyone. This is episode 92 of Cinco Squad. I'm Jonathan Sawyer. With me are my brothers, TreyDay, Mike A, and Grandpa J. Fellas, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
New Year, new you. Any New Year resolutions on the rise here, fellas? Anything?
No, bro. It's winter. We don't make resolutions. We just take more action.
Yes, sir.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I am officially day one in the 75 hard challenge.
Attaboy.
And it's difficult when you start it probably 6 at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But yes, I'm trying that. I'm trying to lose weight.
Tell everybody what it is. I don't think everybody knows it.
So the 75 hard challenge is basically a challenge that is to make you comfortable being uncomfortable, pretty much. It's 2 workouts a day, drink a gallon of water, 10 pages you have to read of any book, and then eat well on a diet, of course. And then the last one is
no alcohol
or sugar or anything of that sort. So
and one of those workouts have to be outside, right?
Not anymore. They changed it up because I know a lot of people probably were in the winter time, so they probably made just 2 workouts. No anything like that. But I made mine. Me and Bubba went on a 2-hour or 45-minute walk, and I did a 45-minute back day today. So I'm trying to lose weight. I feel unhealthy, and I want to get healthier, and I think that's a huge factor in a lot of things. And, you guys have been very supportive as a team. So if anyone wants to join me on this challenge, my wife is. We're doing it together. We're going to crush it. Feel free to shoot us a DM, and we'll all join a community and kind of do it together. Because as we know in sports, it's all about team effort. So no matter what.
Let's go, Sawyer Fam Bam. Let's go.
Let's go. We got this.
Teamwork makes dream work.
What a New Year it was. We had a ton of good action in sports.
Yes.
And, of course, playing for the Natty for the first time since 97. Well, we really didn't play for it in 97. We kind of just got it with Nebraska. So, but any new news on your guys? Anything that you guys want to talk about on your side or anything? Jamie, you're mic'd up today.
Mic'd up, baby. We're moving on up.
I got a nice crisp new mic on the way.
Yes, sir.
Not new me, but new mic. Like
New Year.
Get it? Get it? Because
New Year, new mic.
And TreyDay has the mic on the way. No, like an actual mic.
Yeah,
Mike DeSanto. Mike's moving to Cleveland with it. So
yeah, we're hopping in the old Toyota Camry after the show, and we're going to Cleveland.
Yeah, Toyotas are safe. It's not a Kia, so you're safe in Cleveland.
Don't drive Kia around here.
That reminds me of when I drove there after the VCU game and got to your house at like 1 a.m. that was Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah.
That was fun as hell.
Patriots, Falcons Super Bowl.
The best game ever, right?
Yeah, if you're from Boston.
Yeah, best quarter ever. Actually,
best quarter.
Good quarter ever.
It's quarter and 4 minutes.
FansIdea. You're probably wondering what FansIdea is. FansIdea is a jersey customized site where you can get anything you want. Literally anything. Any team color, anything. And you get yourself 10% off with Cinco Squad 10. That's Cinco Squad 10. FansIdea.com. Go get your jersey today for your sports season and put your logo on the side. And let us know what you think. That's FansIdea.com, Cinco Squad 10.
All right, crazy golf heads. ShankIt Golf, that's the place for all your gear. Cinco Squad, you got a 15% discount. That's 15%. I know you guys need some new gear coming up. You know there's always a reason to swag your bag out more. So head over to ShankIt Golf and get yourself something so you look fly on the golf course this winter. I mean, that's basically if you live in Florida. or you got to fly down to Florida to play golf. So ShankIt Golf, get you all swagged out. Cinco Squad, 50% discount. That's 15% discount. Cinco Squad.
But we'll dive into college football, NFL.
Yes.
We got college basketball talk. We got everything. But let's start off the new year the right way with what's on Mike's mind. Mike, take it away.
Okay, so yeah, new year, 2024, and I needed to bring you a interesting fact for 2024 to open it up, and it had, of course, to be national championship themed. So, up until the last 2 years, Georgia had only ever won one national championship. That was in 1981, right? That year, in the Sun Bowl, their bowl game, when they were the consensus national champions, they played against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Oh, of course they did.
And they did beat them.
Of course they did.
In that game, shut up. In that game, Herschel Walker ran for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns on 36 carries. As we would expect from Herschel Walker, fantastic athlete and running back in Georgia and the NFL. But that's not the interesting thing. What the interesting thing was their quarterback. Their quarterback, Buck Bellew. I've never heard a more Georgia quarterback name in my life than Buck Bellew. He either had to go to Georgia or Alabama. It's one of the two.
You say that with a smart. You say
that
with a You say that with like a curled lip.
Buck Bellew. Actually, no. LSU would have worked too. Buck Bellew in that game threw for 7 yards. All on his last pass. They were 3rd and 7, and he completed a 7-yard pass to secure the win with a first down. Prior to that, his first 11 pass attempts were incomplete.
So what you're really saying is a team had a one-track game. All they did was successfully run the ball, and they still beat your Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
And won a national championship.
I won a Natty championship. That's what you're really trying to say, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, Notre Dame, how about we don't have that happen ever again? Ever. Also, oddly enough, I just realized this. The Irish played in the Sun Bowl
this year.
Yeah,
you got beat, right?
No, they won.
Oh, they won.
Okay. They won pretty convincingly.
Yeah, they had a.
Who did they play?
Oregon State.
Oh, that's right. They did win convincingly. That was a big.
Well, Oregon State had admittedly had 95% of their roster missing, including new FSU quarterback DJ Uiagalelei.
Say that name one more time.
DJ So yeah, that was the interesting thing that stood out to me. National championship for Georgia with a 7-yard passer.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what always stands out to me is something we always need to hear, guys.
What's that?
Jamie's Locks of the Week, of course. Jay, take it away.
Sure.
Bring it in, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of Locks of the Week right here on Cinco Squad. You guys are going to hear me formally apologize to the best team and best player in football for the atrocious pick last week. Had it not been for my idiotic pick, we would have had a perfect weekend. Tennessee came through because, of course, Iowa scored 0 points in the bowl game. And then on Monday night, yes, sir, those Washington Huskies continue to roll. Like I said, if you're giving me points, must be the money. Show me that money, man. How could you give that team points? They are a juggernaut offense. Penix looked like the Heisman winner in that game. He was elusive. He was making every pass. I mean, he was putting passes in there like the wide receivers were delivering babies. I mean, those things were just dropping right in on those numbers. So what are we going to do this week? Well, we're going to play it a little bit different. I'm not touching the national championship game because you'll see on the show here that we're all going to have our say in that. So you get everybody's pick. But here's what I am going to do. I'm going to twist it a bit here. Pacers Hawks on Friday night. Last time these teams met, they scored 309 combined points. Wow. So what do you think I'm going with this one? I don't care if they say the over is 289 points. These teams are going to run up and down, and they might have about 78 possessions each in the first half. Who knows? But it's going to be run and gun. It's going to be threes from half court. You're going to see it all in this game. It's one boom, bam, bam, boom, bam, 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 bam. Nonstop pace. Give me the points. Love the Pacers to win, but I love the points more. Saturday night, Trey, what do we know about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens? When they play, it's usually decided by 3 points or less. They go ahead and give the Ravens 4 points. You think I'm betting against the Ravens this week? You must be out of your mind if I'm going to do that. We got Tyler Huntley. If anybody could be a little penny in the NFL, it's Tyler Huntley because he's little Lamar. This guy looks like Lamar out there. He plays like him, not at this level, but he looks like a little Lamar. Give me Tyler Huntley and the Ravens at +4. And then let's take it to, I haven't done a college bet lately, so I'm going to go to the hardwood, college basketball. Houston sitting at number 3 right now. They'll be playing West Virginia. West Virginia is ranked in the 300s in every offensive category possible. They are a dreadful offense. They can barely score over 65 points a game. So guess what we're doing here? Houston defends better than anybody else in the country. West Virginia is going to be lucky to score more than 40. Give me the under, baby, because there ain't no points in that game. That's John's kind of game right there. Defense.
West Virginia. Take me on.
We're going 3-0 this week. While my friends out here sing the ballad and the melodies in the background. Listen closely, boys and girls. If you want to be perfect this weekend, you want to win some money, here's what you got to do. You got to take these 3 bets. Take the points in the Pacers-Hawks game. Take the under in the Houston-West Virginia college basketball game. And finally, little Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley, is going to have his chance to send the Steelers home. Will Trey be crying on Saturday night, or will he be a happy guy? I think the Steelers pull it off by they don't win by 4. They might win by 1, 2, or 3. So give me the Ravens at +4. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are your locks of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to apologize to the best team in the NFL, that be the Baltimore Ravens, as well as the best player in the NFL this year and probably for many years past had it not been for injuries, and that be Mr. Lamar Jackson. I went on here at about this time last week and proclaimed not only would Miami cover 3.5 points, but Lamar Jackson would turn the ball over and keep Miami in the game. And boy, was I wrong. Lamar Jackson pretty much had a perfect game, had more touchdowns than incompletions. He had 5 touchdowns to 3 incompletions, and he looked like the best player that football has seen in many years in all facets. Not only last week, but the week before against San Francisco too. How could I be such a hater? How could I doubt these Baltimore Ravens? I mean, they were playing the Miami Dolphins, who haven't done shit against teams who have a winning record. How dare I go on record and bet against those Baltimore Ravens? I mean, the guy's only shown over the past couple of years that he's the most electrifying player in football. And this idiot right here decides that the Miami we don't show up for big game Dolphins was going to be the one to tame this amazing player. City of Baltimore and Lamar Jackson, I sincerely apologize for doubting you. I think you guys are going all the way this year. Let's go Ravens.
Can I just say how hold on a second.
Is that Bubba's? It's trying to talk. Bubba, what's your lock of the week, bro?
He's defending. I guess he's defending Trey there because you called him out.
He's like, the Ravens, bro.
Never met Trey, but I don't like the way you talk to him. Well, I have some just news before we get into our college football and college
breaking news.
Playoffs.
Breaking news.
2023 was a great year for Cinco Squad. We grew in multiple facets in all different types of ways. So we can't thank everyone enough for the viewership, the follows, the comments, everything. So we really appreciate that. I appreciate you fellows for all your hard work in and outside the show, continuously putting the work in, and we're going to put even more work in this year. We got a lot in store for 2024, but just to give you some numbers, we finished the year on total platforms right around 2.5 million. That's 2.5 million viewership across all platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. So shout out to everyone for viewing us. And we're about 1,076 followers total across all platforms. So that's off to you guys for all your work. Thank you guys for all your support. We appreciate it. And we got a lot in store for 2024. But to start off the 2024 season with the national championship, where my Michigan Wolverines will take on the Washington Huskies. Tough opponent. I'm going to throw it over to Mikey Mike and kind of recap the college football season as well here. So recap the college football season, kind of see what you guys are thinking, how the season went, what you guys thought, and then what you guys prepare for the national championship game. Mike?
Yeah, so I think overall for the college football season first, I thought it was a great year. I thought that a lot of programs made, kind of huge steps to becoming contenders. I liked what I saw from Oregon State, not necessarily in the Sun Bowl against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, but I do like what I saw from Oregon State. Obviously, your top teams did well. Texas proved that they're back, even though they took a loss in that college football playoff semifinal. They battled with a really good Washington team, so I was really impressed with that. Teams outside the SEC, we've got a lot of realignment we're looking at, and I think it's a sign that the teams that are moving into the Big Ten, the SEC, Big 12, ACC, all are going to bring a lot to the table. So where there were concerns in conference realignment, and some people still have concerns with the realignment as far as the number of teams in these conferences, I think we're going to see some really great football moving forward. So I was very excited from overall this year. Now, as far as the college football playoff went, this has been, I will say, this was the best one so far that we've had since it started in 2014. As far as competitive games, superstar players stepping up, underrated players stepping up on both offense and defense, making great plays. I mean, they said it in the broadcast, I think following the second game, that this is the first time in the entire college football playoff that there hasn't been at least one game, or at least the average is not over 21-point difference amongst the two games. So I thought that was awesome.
Is that true?
That's what Chris Fowler said.
Last year wouldn't have been that. Ohio State lost on the field goal, and Michigan lost at the end. So Chris Fowler, correct.
Wait, what was the stat again?
It was something to the effect of this is the first
Time has gone on to the last possession on each game.
In both games.
Michigan did, and so did
Ohio State.
You're right. I
that's
the thing. I was just going off of what he said something about 21
points.
points.
Maybe won by 10.
No, they won by 6.
Okay.
JJ McCarthy went to go throw the pass and he slipped, and then obviously Trey knows what happened.
But they clocked. Yeah. But the thing is, they got the ball back and they took a knee. I think the clock expired on the game. That's what they're saying. The last play was the last play. The team didn't get it back and take a knee or anything. The team that won. I think that's what they're probably saying, right?
Well, no, Max Dugan did take a knee, but I get what you mean. But
right, the game was down to the final play.
It was a great week, but I do think people forget how good the year before was.
Yes.
Most of them have been blowouts the year before. Michigan, TCU,
was
really good. Georgia, Ohio State wasn't really good. Maybe not as good as these, but the last 2 years have been both.
We were actually nervous about the Ohio State Georgia game. We were like, I don't know what team's going to show up, and then finally that was like Ohio State's best game in 2 years almost.
Yeah, that was the best C.J. Stroud game of his life.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you said it last week. C.J. Stroud played the game of his life.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to take that as a good sign, even though we're going to 12 teams, we're going to a bigger playoff. It's a good sign of how a lot of these programs can stay competitive with each other moving forward. And I think it's a good overall so far. The semifinal has been, and I think the national championship game will also be a very good sign for the state of college football and where the game is headed as far as excitement and stuff like that. Now, am I making my prediction now, or are we
wait until after?
Wait till after. Okay, that's fine. But
we'll go across the bar and do it. But
that's what I figured. But yeah, so I'm feeling good. Jay, what you think?
I thought we had a fantastic end to what was sort of an abysmal bowl season, right? There really weren't that many competitive games. Luckily, the game right here in Tampa, the Outback Bowl, was a good preview going into the afternoon and evening matchups. I think we knew that we were going to get something special with Bama and Michigan, because you have the juggernaut meeting what has been forcing its way through the cracks of college football to be the juggernaut with this hanging story kind of headlining the program, right? And for once, it's wait, Bama's not the team that's being called dirty, that's cheating or doing something to win. So Michigan takes that off of Bama's chest. And all of a sudden, wait, Bama's an underdog? So it's a different undertone that we're used to seeing in the college football playoffs. And both of them lived up to the billing. I mean, Michigan's defense came to play, and we expected that. On the other side, we knew it was going to be points, just like Trey said last week. And Penix looked fantastic. Now, so did Dylan Johnson, who really helps them. And people don't realize how good of a running back he is. The receivers get all the glory. The offense and the guy who holds the ball in his hand most of the time gets the glory. Dylan Johnson moves the chains a lot for Washington. And the thing is, they don't wait. They don't really have to convert third downs because this kid is picking up first downs for them on pretty big second down or first down runs. So he's making the game easier for them. And he's really the X factor that hopefully he's more than 85 or 80% on Monday night, because that might be the biggest difference in the game. But I've seen teams really coming up this year and making big moves to try and make that splash, because I think we know for sure Ole Miss had their best year ever, I think, in program history. Lane Kiffin is doing great things there. Common sense. He loses to Georgia. He loses to Bama. What does he notice in warm-up? Both of those teams have ginormous men playing on that defensive line. So what do we need to go out and do? We need to go out and get some ginormous men on our line. He does that. He has a great transfer class coming in. 7 guys who would right now be regarded as 5-star athletes coming out of high school, but they're better because they already have experience playing college football in the SEC, some of them. Got a huge transfer out of A&M. Can't remember his name. Guy's an absolute monster. So I see teams like Ole Miss making lots of noise in the playoffs next year because we know it's expanded. I see teams like Oregon replacing Bo Nix with somebody who is going to probably be able to play close to that level. And we're going to see great football on the defensive side as well. Here's what I really see happening next year. I think the top 6 to 8 teams are going to be defensive-minded teams. I really feel that you're going to have to recruit on that side of the ball really well. Hope that your transfers coming in are great athletic cornerbacks, and really try and take care of business and have your running back to help balance the game for you. But I think we're going to see more of a defensive style year next year. And the greatest thing about this year was we didn't know who the number 1 was almost every week. We knew it wasn't Ohio State. No offense, Trey, when they opened up as number 1. We knew it wasn't Georgia because we kept wanting to doubt it was Georgia because they didn't have that, flash of winning by 40 or 30 points every week. We knew it wasn't Alabama. We knew it wasn't Texas. We doubted if it was Washington or Oregon. We just couldn't tell all year long who is the clear-cut number 1 team. And I think it came down to these playoffs where it was still wide open, and I loved it because we went into it, and some of us did predict the right national championship game, but we kind of all went into it saying, like, we know for sure there's not an absolute dominant team that's going to run away with this thing. And you kind of love when sports is that way because it kind of makes you feel intrigued. Like, I got to watch, right? I got to see what the final outcome is going to be. So kudos to college football this year. Very entertaining other than bowl season. Thank God the big bowl games lived up to the hype. But I loved it for the most part. And I think next year, even though we've been talking a lot of shit about expansion in the playoffs, I think it's going to be wild.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, the bowl season was shit because if you look at the Orange Bowl, 40 players. And I agree with Kirby Smart. Obviously at this point, it doesn't matter anymore because the Orange Bowl is actually going to mean something this next year. But I agree with Kirby Smart. They had to do something different, and different as in eliminating games, because it really is a waste of time. It was a waste of time for Georgia and Florida State to go play that game. 63-7.
Do you think Georgia would have beat you guys?
It would have been a tough matchup. I think they would have been a tough matchup. I don't know, because our defense was playing at top caliber. They were playing really good. I love the blitz packages that the D coordinator was putting in there. I love the opportunities that our defense gave the offense. That was the biggest question mark, was the offense. I felt like JJ was forcing a lot of throws in that game. A lot of throws in that game early. He was jumpy, throwing that almost pick in the first, like you said, saved by the yield.
Possession.
Bro, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Here we go.
Here we go. But I have to agree with you. It was a great college football season. We never really knew. We went into the last week with potentially 6 to 8 teams that probably could have played in the college football playoff competitively, right? Mm-hmm. So even, the teams that we look at, like, Florida State, Ohio State, those teams would have got ready for that game. You have top teams. They're still top teams in the country, right? Ohio State still took Michigan down to the wire, sort of, kind of, right? So, I mean, it wasn't a complete blowout. Ohio State had the lead at one point in that Michigan game, and, realistically, they would have been competitive. So when I look at the entirety of the football season, it's nice to see that the game is starting to have more parity. But, I'm very concerned with that 12-team playoff. I mean, it's going to get very iffy around the end of the year, conference championship time, when we have teams potentially sitting guys out for that game, because why play them, right? So I'm not sure really what the solution isn't there. But overall, great college football playoff. I think last year was entertaining. Obviously, it wasn't for me, but this year's a little bit better because we're moving on. But both years, really great games. I don't think you can't like compare them or anything like that. They both had their highs and lows. But I will say this: I do agree with Kirk Herbstreit. The Rose Bowl should be the national championship destination every single year.
Hell yes.
Every single year. Trey, what you think?
It's a bit bittersweet because I genuinely enjoy college football, partly because every week means something. And I kind of know this was the last year where every week is going to mean something.
Right.
Where your team loses in week 4 and you're like, oh, God, we may be done for the season. Now, to be honest, if we go into next year in Ohio State, I don't know, let's say hypothetically we get to week 4 and we lose, I'm not going to panic because the stakes just aren't there throughout the season. So, like, going back and remembering earlier in the year when Oregon played Washington, the stakes of that game, remembering the Ohio State, Notre Dame, and the stakes during that game, remembering the Michigan, Penn State game. We don't get these games that have these type of stakes. Even when you talk about the championship week, the SEC championship, Georgia, Bama doesn't mean the same thing it did because they both would have been getting in. So maybe they do, as John said, sit somebody down. Maybe you don't play some of your best people. Maybe you are trying to rest Bowers and these people because what are we doing this for? So this was, to me, one of the last pure years we'll have of that as far as college football. We actually get to enjoy the meaning of everything with that. And then next year, I mean, you're looking at it where we got, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the conference alignment is going to be interesting to watch some of these teams show up like to the Big 18 next year. I mean, Big 10, whatever you want to call the conference, 18 teams. Because now you will get some of these, like Washington plays Michigan in the championship rematch in week 5. But then Penix won't be there, so it's not the same. You know, you won't have the same exact team. But like
McCarthy might not be there either.
Huh?
Yeah.
McCarthy might not be there either. So
yeah, McCarthy more than likely is trending towards probably not being there. Corum won't be there, so it won't be the same thing. But I mean, it's kind of cool. You'll get some of those matchups. But I like I said, it's bittersweet. I did enjoy this year, but I kept watching this year dreading, like, oh God, next year we're gonna have the first round of playoffs and 5 is gonna be playing 12 and probably be a slaughter. We took this long into these last 2 seasons to get a good semi. So what about next year makes me think that 5 versus 12 is going to be interesting when 1 versus 4 have been an ass kicking really for the most part until the last 2 seasons. So I don't know. It's a little bit, it's bittersweet.
Yeah, and one thing, let one thing this year be in everybody's mind in the selection committee: liberty, liberty, liberty. They didn't do shit with their shot on national TV to prove that they belong there. So I think that is the benchmark for them to say, we don't need to push the limit here. We could put a 2-loss Ole Miss team in there if they lose to Alabama and a Texas, because they are going to be 10 times, maybe 100 times more competitive than a Liberty.
We all know that, but
because they won 12 uncompetitive games.
They're gonna push that next year. It will be. I hate this. I agree with you, and that's what I'm talking about, because it will be a Liberty type team at 12 playing a number 5, which would be what? I mean, it was Florida.
It would have been
State.
Georgia.
Florida State.
It's been at the level of Liberty would have been playing Georgia with something to play
that
for.
Could be
like
80 freaking 4.
Yeah, like I'm not looking forward to that. Like next.
Yeah, Liberty. I mean, and it's like I said a few weeks ago on the show, is I give hats off to Liberty, going 13-0, winning your conference, doing everything. That's a great feat, regardless of where you're at. But it's a different stage when you say, let's say, like you said, a 3-loss Ole Miss team gets in the playoff. They've played the competition. They have 5-star recruits. They're playing in one of the best conferences in the country against the top guys who the SEC puts out NFL caliber players every single day. And we talk about this all the time. The worst team in the NFL would beat the shit out of the best team in the college football, hands down by 40 plus points. So, and this is what the SEC and the Big Ten are producing: top guys who go into the NFL. And it gets so lost in there that, okay, Liberty may have 1 or 2 guys, but Ole Miss is probably putting 20 in the NFL at least. It's shot.
Yep.
So it's no shot at Liberty. But don't sit here and try to say, oh, we're playing, because Oregon came in and sat like 10 starters total. And Bo Nix was in the game. So you got your fair shot. You got your fair shot, right? So
you played essentially Oregon.
It wasn't the Auburn UCF game that we saw in the Peach Bowl where UCF won. Auburn sat like 25 starters.
Right.
So when it wasn't really a fair matchup. So, I mean, I agree with Trey 100% on this. I mean, him and I talk about this all the time, that these games in the middle, like, okay, we take a loss. It's almost like the NFL. You take a loss, you move on type thing. You're not, especially if you're a contending team, okay, we're going to get in the playoff. And honestly, does being the five seed next year really, I mean, it kind of benefits you. You stay home. You ain't got to travel. 5 through 8, you stay home. You don't have to travel very much. You get a home game. You probably win. It's all about momentum. So you get momentum going. You go into the next game with momentum. The other team's been asleep. You know, it hasn't been really game action. So is it really benefit to be the 1 seed and sit for 2 more weeks or a week later?
Is the format going to be like the NFL where lowest seed plays 1 and that's how they do it? They just move it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. It'll be lowest seed plays 1,
and then the next.
Or is it bracket style where it's just like March Madness?
No, I think it's NFL where lowest remaining seed plays 1, next plays 2, next plays 3.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to say, don't necessarily entirely quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I read their plan is.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
you get into weird like seeding debates if you're going to reseed for like a tournament style.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, the 1 seed is kind of waiting. You're just sitting there and just like, okay, do we play 8? Do we play 12? Like, what we're gonna play? I think we're just gonna get better matchups maybe as a 12. And realistically, I don't know where everyone keeps getting this notion that Liberty was going to be in the college football playoff because Oklahoma was the number 12 team in the country.
Yeah.
I don't know where we keep saying Liberty's in it projectedly next year. Oklahoma's number 12.
There's only one thing I can guess with that, and that's the conference champions. That Liberty would get in automatically because they're a conference champion. They would not as an auto bid like we had discussed, 2-3 episodes ago about a potential auto bid into it, but more like that the committee will reward them with a spot for winning their conference. And in this case, going undefeated. They went undefeated.
They got the eye test this year with an undefeated Liberty team. So
yes, they did.
With going up against. But let's lock it down. Who are your picks for this Monday night's national championship? Michigan versus Washington. TreyDay? I don't think I have to really ask, but go for it.
Oh, okay. I know what he's doing.
Yeah, I thought that was Bubba. I was like, Bubba?
Yeah, I was like,
you know where we're going with this.
I didn't mean really take my dog.
No, you hear the Huskies in the background. You know where we're going with this.
Yeah, I knew.
I've been right. No, I mean, but then even I said before the playoffs started, I had Washington to win. Because what I feel like this is, it reminds me of the year of Vince Young for real, where Vince Young. But don't get me wrong, I picked Jay. Actually, my preseason pick was Jaden Daniels to win the Heisman. But similar to that Vince Young year, he goes out there, he gets to the Heisman, doesn't win it, and he goes out and just has a chip on his shoulder. And I feel like that is what Penix is right now. I feel like these legs are going to get used, that arm's going to get used. He's going against a defense with hella players, which was a USC had, and I think he's just going to figure something out. It's going to be tough. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be a close game. My prediction is Washington 31, Michigan 23 is what my prediction is.
A lot of points.
Yeah, I do, because Washington defense still is not great. So I do think there will be some points on Michigan. I don't think Michigan's going to get just shut down. I just think there'll be a few crazy plays where we're going to be like, how the hell did Penix just make that play? I can't believe this dude's open, because the truth is this is the best offense that Washington's played all year. This is the best defense. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. This is the best defense that Washington's played all year. This is the best offense that Michigan's played all year. So this is the class of offense versus defense, but similar to like the Oregon game where it's just a shootout, I think Washington's defense will make a timely stop at some point. Or McCarthy, who always seems to do this, is going to give you a 1 or 2 shots. And I think Washington may pick that one random duck that McCarthy just throws out there. And I don't think Penix is going to make the mistakes that, you know, a lot of these other guys made along the way against Michigan.
Yep.
Mike, who you got?
So this is interesting, isn't it? I think this is going to be an absolute war of a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super excited about it. Yeah, no, exactly. No, but to that point, like figuratively, not actually planting the flags or whatever, but there's going to be, I guess you could say, planting the flag moments for both sides. It's like, no, this is my national championship. No, this is my national. Like, and it's just like two armies approaching each other. Something's got to, like, the thing that popped into my head, Trey, when you said that was something's got to give. The best offense that Michigan's played, the best defense that Washington's played, something's got to give here. And I think what's going to give is a 34-31 national championship victory for the Michigan Wolverines. Gus Johnson here. It's not Ohio. It's not the Ohio State Buckeyes. It is the Michigan Wolverines. So, yeah, I think Michigan is going to end up pulling out this win. I'm sorry, John, to say this because I really don't want it to be for you, but I think it's going to be another heart thumper. I'm sorry, but in fact, I almost want to put on the prediction that I think it's a game-winning field goal because I think it's going to be this type of game. I think it's going to be the type of – I know, I'm sorry. I really don't want this for you, but I just have to be honest. I think it's going to be one of those games where it's literally, like I said, with the whole like figuratively planting the flag thing. I think it's Michigan scores and Washington scores and Michigan scores and Washington scores. Stop. So like, I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. I'm really excited for it as an objective fan that doesn't have to worry about who wins and loses. Although I will say this, I'm rooting for Michigan for you. I really am because I want you after.
Oh,
so cute.
That's so cute.
Well, we talked last week. He had a tough enough 2023 with all his team.
Right,
So,
terrible.
He kind of could use a win. He can use a win here. So yeah, I think 34-31 Michigan Wolverines. But hats off, if that is the case, hats off to Washington for a hell of a season.
Not so fast, my friend.
Oh God, it's Lee Corso.
Here's where we're going. I love the points Trey made.
Okay? I love
the points that Trey made because it does feel like the Vince Young year. All the stars are lining up for it. Washington's offense, no matter what or who throws whatever at them, they find a way. I believe that Michigan will not figure out the special teams debacle that almost cost them the game. I think here's what's going to happen. And John, you are going to absolutely hate it. I think they end up botching another extra point, which makes the game wide open all of a sudden. So what's going to end up happening is the game is going to be 26-24 in favor of Michigan. Because they missed an extra point, Washington gets the ball back with about a minute and 4 seconds to go. Penix takes them down the field, and they kick a game-winning field goal. And it's going to be heartbreak city for you. And I hate that for you because, man, does it suck to lose by one. And you're probably going to be the better team for most of the game. But I believe that Vince Young magic touch is going to be in there. I think every time you guys strike, they're going to be able to strike back. Now, if Dylan Johnson is not able to go, I'm not too sure. But here's a cool thing that we're going to see. On the defensive side of the ball, we got number 8, Derek Moore. And then we got number 8, Braylon Trice for Washington. I think both of those guys are going to be game changers. So just remember the number 8 in this game because both of those guys are going to make big-time plays that may shift the game either way for either team. But if I got to go with one, Washington 27, Michigan 26.
Well, I don't think you have to go with my pick. It's going to be Michigan winning and hoisting that title. I always find it funny how they ask every week, Desmond. Like, oh, Desmond, who's Michigan? Who's Michigan win? It's like he picks it, and he always tries to make an explanation. But he always picks Michigan, no matter what.
I think that.
Yeah, right. Yes, Michigan will win this game by our defense. I believe number 8, Derek Moore, like you said, I have it written down right here. Actually, he will have a pick 6 that will change the second half in the third quarter around the 10-minute mark. So he will pick off Michael Penix, which will ignite the defense even more coming back out, and that will change the game. I do think it's going to be close. I do not think I have the final score being 35-31. I know that's a little bit higher scoring than what you guys said, but I do agree that it's going to be just like the Alabama-Michigan. It's going to be kind of like each team's going to, throw a blow. Okay, Michael Penix is going to hit someone deep. I know he is. He's going to hit one of his studs deep. But that's the key of the game. Can the secondary and the safeties lock in on their receivers? The receivers run. They got 3 of them, but they have to lock in on them. They allowed Marvin Harrison to go off against us. And, and just looking at it, it's going to be a barn burner, I think. But I think, Michigan's going to take the victory in this game. But like I said, secondary is going to be the key of this game for both teams because Sherrod Moore, he likes to change things up and throw all these different – stop with the trick plays. Stop with everything.
Seriously.
Special teams, catch the ball. That's it. Or go.
Or let it go.
Let it go. Fire, 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 fire. You run away from the ball. We taught that at a young age in football. So I'm saying that's the final score is 35-31 my Michigan Wolverines. But apparently you guys just want me to visit my cardiologist on fucking Tuesday because But yes, it was a great victory. Malin goes, "You're gonna wake the neighbors."
I don't care. Wake up, bro. We won.
So let us know in the comments who you think is going to be the national champion and your score prediction. Hail to the victors. Michigan finally overcomes Alabama and goes to the national championship. It's so sweet. But as the great Mamba always says, job's not finished. And the job is not finished. And I love their attitude after the game. Shout out to my Michigan Wolverines taking down the mighty, mighty Alabama Crimson Tide in overtime. Hell of a game. Hats off to Alabama and that team. They fought through a lot of adversity this year. Nick Saban is going to go down as the greatest college football head coach ever. So hats off to Alabama. But how about that Michigan Wolverines? Everyone doubted them. Even Mr. Paul Feinbaum over there saying that they're going to get routed by Mr. Alabama. So hats off to my victors. We got one more victory against the Huskies. It's going to be a tough team. Quarterback obviously plays a lot better on the Washington. Need to lock in. Need to get after the quarterback. Cannot have terrible mistakes like they did on special teams. Need to lock in immediately. And I kept saying it all game. Lock in, lock in, lock in. Everyone locked in except special teams. Not everything's perfect. You got to adjust to the moment. And they did. And they came back, drove down the field. Roman Wilson with a tying touchdown. And then, of course, our star, Blake Corum, with game-winning touchdown. So hats off to them. You got a tough game against Washington. They will throw the ball deep. They are not afraid to air it out. They will run the ball effectively. So as a defense, they need to continue to go at them, blitz, make Michael Penix nervous. Get him out of the pocket. I know he's dangerous just like Jalen Milroe, but he likes sitting in the pocket and picking apart defenses. So you have to make him move. So get ready, boys. National Championship Monday in Houston. Go Blue! All right, guys, as we are entering our big year in 2024, there could be big or bad years for teams in general. So who is your biggest fall off biggest come up or fall off in 2024? Which team or person or whatever is going to have the biggest come up or the biggest drop off? TreyDay, throw it over you.
So I did my final whistle on them the other day, and we'll revisit this team again. Let's bring it back to Mr. Fields. If the Chicago Bears do the right thing, then the Chicago Bears will be the biggest come up. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl or any crazy shit like that, but they already have the number 1 pick in the draft secured. They're right now they're projected to have the number 10 pick in the draft. If I'm them, what I think they're going to do is they'll hold on to Fields. They'll trade back a couple spots, still go draft Marvin Harrison. Then they can take that pick to maybe go get Big Joe Alder, somebody to go out there and protect Fields or something with like that number 10 pick, or maybe an asset they got from trading back. So I just think when you look at them, the way they're set up, I think it's going to be the Bears. The Bears defense started to come on strong at the end of the year where they made that trade for Sweat, which I think was a very underrated in-season trade. The defense, like I said, started to look stronger. But if you go out there, you put Marvin Harrison, you get DJ Moore on the other side, that's a monstrous thing. You got Cole Kmet in the middle. That is a hell of a combo. I think they still have a little bit of money, so they still can spend a little bit of free agent money to maybe go get another running back there or something like that. So to me, I just think it's going to end that division. The Vikings are probably stepping back. The Packers are probably stepping back. Detroit, I think, will still be good. But you got two teams that are probably going backwards in that division. And let's be real, football, when Chicago Bears are good, it makes their a fun fan base. So it's good for football. They're about due. It's been a while since the Bears have been good. So I'm going to hitch my wagon to my guy, Justin Fields. And if y'all don't want him, then perfectly fine. Send his ass to Pittsburgh. The Steelers, we will gladly take Fields.
And right now, the Jets might be going to Soldier Field. And it would be great to see Aaron Rodgers play a more competitive Bears team that fucks him up in Chicago for once.
All right. So, Grandpa Jay, who's your biggest come up or biggest fall off?
It would be super easy to pick on I almost call him the damn Charlotte Bobcats. It'd be really easy to pick on the Panthers right now because that franchise where you couldn't think it might not get any worse. They might have back-to-back like 1 or 2 win seasons, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go with the Canadian men's basketball team, who I think is going to win the gold medal at the Paris Olympic Games this summer. The only medal the Canadian men's national basketball team has ever won was in 1936, and it was a silver medal. So it's not to go out on a whim and say, well, they're going to match their best Olympic performance ever, because that's not much of a come up. You got to be better than what you've done in the past. So I think they got RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett playing up in Canada right now. He's home. He's feeling himself again. He's going to be feeling that Canada energy. You got Andrew Wiggins. You got SGA playing like an MVP. Jamal Murray's going to be making a deep playoff run, so his game's going to be on. Kind of hope he stays healthy because I think that's the X factor. And Trey Lyles as their kind of versatile big man. That's a big-time starting 5 right there. They already proved they're hard to play against. They almost ended up winning the gold medal match game this year. I think Germany ended up taking them out in the semis or something, so they're in the 3rd place game against the States. But I really think this team is on the come up. I think Canada basketball is on the come up. I believe this is going to be their year and their stage to do it. They got the young guns, they got the energy, and they got the big time, prime time. By the way, this boy went to Kentucky, baby. SGA, you got to have that MVP type player in there to win. We saw it in Kevin Durant a couple of years ago in Tokyo. I mean, Kevin Durant took the semifinal game over, took the finals game over, carried the USA on his back. I think SGA could do the same thing for Canada. So give me those boys some up north, eh? Winning a gold medal in basketball, eh?
Oh,
it's funny you said that. It's funny you said because my backup, if I didn't use the Bears, was actually Oklahoma City Thunder because of SGA. So
and Chet Holmgren, give him some love, bro.
And Chet, Chet, it's a lot. But so it's funny you did shout him out for that.
The bearded Chet Holmgren.
All right, Jay, who you want?
Hey, we on the same waypath tonight, bro. Yep. Pick Washington, thinking about SGA.
You guys stay over there.
Happily.
All right, so I'll give mine. My biggest come up. I'm gonna give 2 if you don't mind. I'm gonna give fall off too.
I completely.
My biggest come up.
Me and Mike do mine. Mike always mine. It's always something on his mind.
Oh well, that's true. It's always something on my mind.
Yeah,
anyway,
John, bad news first, then the good news second. Come on, who's going? Give us a fall off first.
Go on.
Biggest fall off will be my New York Yankees. They will miss the playoffs for a 2nd straight year because they did not and have not spent any money in the free agency as right now. There's still a lot of people out there, but the biggest fall off will be this, and this will be the final season with Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman. I don't want to say it. I don't want to believe it. I think the Juan Soto trade was absolutely abysmal. I think you gave away for a guy to – do I think Juan Soto is a great player? Yes. Do I think it's the piece that the Yankees needed? No. They didn't need that. What they needed was pitching, and it kept showing all year. The offense started heat up in September. and the bullpen let them down. The starting pitching let them down. Obviously, guys got hurt, and I know, Mike, you understand that too. We've set it on the rotation, but I just feel they're going to have a big fall off this year because they're going to rely they went out and got someone that they already had, a guy that can hit the long ball. You're paying number 99. He sits in right field. He's 6'8". He hits the long ball pretty good, right? So I don't understand why they decided to go get that. I just feel like I don't have any confidence in them this year. And I hope, and like I was with Jalen Hurts, I hope I was wrong. I am wrong. I hope we were sitting here in October and you guys were like, I know Grandpa Jay's going to hold me to it. He's going to write it down like, okay, in October. I hope you do. I have love, but I don't like the moves they're making. And ultimately, the GM, Brian Cashman, I think just needs to go. I mean, he's just not he's not made any moves as a Yankees GM that have benefited the team. I mean, he made the CC and AJ Burnett move that they keep holding on to it, but I still think the boss still had factor into it because he was still alive at the time. But I mean, I don't know, man. It's just for me, I can't see them getting. I haven't seen them get any better there right now.
Hold on, I need to take a call real quick. 911. Please go to Rochester, New York. I have a distressed Yankees fan. I'm very concerned right now about certain predictions that were made. Yep. Please get over there ASAP.
Ambulance right now, you said?
Yep. The DeSanto house.
Rochester or Miami? Where's the address? Correct address.
First, Rochester. I think we need to resuscitate him first.
Okay.
Thank you.
We got to rescue his spirit from Rochester and go get his body in Miami.
Yes.
I appreciate it, guys.
Bro, how the hell did you guys not get Tyler Glasser? Like that was there for the taking.
Because Dodgers. That's why.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's ultimately that's it, right? The Dodgers offered a little bit more. That's the thing. The Yankees weren't willing to offer any of their young guys for any of these guys, but they're not playing the young guys, so it doesn't make any sense. These guys are so great, but they don't see time. They don't see time till September. I never understand that. So, I mean, I know Mike is. I know he's gonna say the MLB clock. I know he's gonna say it. But
I wasn't gonna say it. I mean, that is unfortunately the case, but I wasn't gonna say it. No, to that point, there's a contradiction there, though. They weren't willing to give up their young pieces, but then they traded their best young pitcher in the Soto deal, along with 2 of the top 5 young pitchers on the team.
It goes back to what we said. Like, sometimes you need to get rid of your star player in order to have success. And I don't know what Soto's going to bring to the team. He's going to bring electricity. He's a very high energy person. I'm not saying he's not, but I just don't see it, right? I don't see it fitting. I see him trying to hit the home run every single time and then ending up, kind of like what Stanton was, like a DH where he's going to strike out and whatnot. And I just don't like that. So, but let me go to my biggest come up. My biggest come up is going back to the 315. And I shouted him out before, and I'm going to shout him out again. Fran Brown and the Syracuse Orange football team, they're going to have the biggest come up, and they're going to contend for an ACC championship next year.
Wow.
Yes. They went from last year having the 89th best recruiting class, and that's totality in transfers and recruiting, to they are number 46 in the country right now. 18 commits already. They only had 15 commits all last year. Go to 2023. He's had 3 4-stars, which Syracuse, I think the last 4-star was, and I know people will correct me, but I believe it was back in like 2015, 2016 era, around then. But I believe they're going to have the biggest come up. I love the energy he has. He's bringing in guys. He brought in the DB coach or the edge coach from Colorado who had that, really good defense in Colorado. He's just bringing in guys. He's bringing the hype. He's bringing his guys. The transfer from Georgia is potentially visiting Syracuse and going to potentially go to Syracuse because he recruited him again. He still has 3 years left. So I just see my hometown Syracuse Orange, and if I would love to be in the Carrier Dome because for years my grandfather and I had season tickets, and we would sit there on the 35-yard line and watch them get their ass kicked. I watched Ray Rice come in there and beat their ass. I watched Penn State come in there and beat their ass. So it's about time to see Syracuse football resurge and see them come back.
Cinco Squad in the house. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Mikey Mike.
Yes.
Who's your biggest come up?
Or letdown.
No, it's my biggest come up. So this one, I kind of went back and forth with a few teams, that on both sides, but one kind of sneakily stood out to me. And Uncle Chris, this one's for you.
Oh boy.
My biggest come up is going to be the MLB's Cincinnati Reds. I think they will have the biggest come up, especially in the major leagues this year. And that is because the NL Central is so wide open. It's not even fun. I mean, the Brewers ended up winning the division and then lost their manager.
With arms wide open.
Yeah, with arms wide open.
I don't know why I did this. I haven't, Mike.
I don't. Yet. I think so. It's weird because the Brewers are good. The Brewers should still be good. They made a kind of weird trade with the Mets for pitching, but they lost Craig Counsell as their manager. Craig Counsell's with the Cubs, so you would think, okay, one of the best managers in baseball now with the Cubs. Cubs must be the favorite. Well, the Cubs look like they're going to lose Cody Bellinger and Marcus Stroman at this point, and I haven't really seen them do much to replace them. Speaking of the Cubs, on the Reds now is Heimer Candelario, who the Cubs traded for as an infielder to try to make a push and win the Central when it was open near the end of the year. Candelario, solid hitter. He drove in 70 runs this year, 22 home runs, hit about 250. In today's major leagues, that's actually a pretty good hitter. Trusty glove at both third and first. He may slot in best at first with the Reds, but I like the sneaky move the Reds are making. Like, they got Frankie Montas, who John and I know somewhat well in the sense of he was listed on the Yankees roster. Didn't really pitch, but he listed on the Yankees roster. But it's only a one-year deal. They have a really good young pitching staff that they can add him to for no stress. And it's really a deal that's like, okay, if you're Frankie Montas that can strike people out and keep balls on the ground from Oakland, despite his kind of bloated ERA compared to that's a whole nother Yankee thing. But if you can be that Frankie Montas as like a 4 or 5 guy, cool. You add something to this team. But if you suck or you get hurt a lot, it's not a big loss because we have such a great young pitching staff that was shown last year. Bullpen's great. They have Edwin Diaz's younger brother, who was really good in the World Baseball Classic and really good when he was with the Reds as their closer last year. Ellie De La Cruz is one of the new superstars in the major leagues. They have good young outfield. Like, I like the look of this team, and they were in it for a long time last year, and they just couldn't finish it off. But I think with the fact that the Brewers lost their manager and really haven't made moves, to make themselves much better. The Cubs, yes, they got a new manager, but they seem to be losing 2 of their best players. The Cardinals are a weird team where I'm never going to count them out for the NL Central, but they looked terrible last year. And Arenado and Goldschmidt and some of their other guys have not gotten any younger, obviously. And then the Pirates are the Pirates.
They're the Pirates.
They're the Pirates. So they looked good at one point.
They're in Pittsburgh,
They're in Pittsburgh. They exist. They are a Major League Baseball team. They have been for a long time. But so have the Cincinnati Reds. So I think this is a year where the Reds, if they can build upon the success that they had this past year and I guess finish off that last month and a half where they fell off and fell out of contention, I think they can make some noise. So we'll see. But they're my biggest come up this year. I like what I'm seeing from them.
They got no love for Onel Cruz and the Pirates. I think that kid might win a Gold Glove pretty soon.
He should, but the thing is like they have him.
He won't be there long.
Yeah,
they'll probably ditch it. They'll probably trade him.
Well, that's the problem. They have him and Ke'Bryan Hayes and Andrew McCutchen, who's again not getting any younger. Outside of that,
he's just a name in the roster to bring people there.
Well, he's not a
fans in the stands.
He's not a bad player.
Well-known name in the city too. So
so he's just gonna put fans in the stands. That's the only reason why they signed him.
Yeah.
But it's like the Pirates continue to only have like 2 or 3 guys at any one point, and I feel bad for the Pirates because they really should be good at some point. They had Garrett Cole and Jamison Tyon on the same pitching staff,
and Tyler Glass now,
and Tyler Glass.
Thank you for giving it to us for a couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for Garrett Cole. Well, thank you. I hate you for giving him to the Astros, and then thank you for Cole.
Yeah.
Well, this was the rotation with Mike and John. Thank you.
Exactly.
Well, let us know who your biggest come up or biggest fall off or both this year in the comments. We're interested to hear what your takes are on this. So
finally, The Rock has come back to WWE. That's right. Monday Night Raw, day 1, and The Rock returns. And he hinted at what his future has in store, and that is facing his cousin, Roman Reigns. Not for the title. He's not back for titles. He's back to be the head of the table. And he kind of hinted at it, saying, oh, I'd be pretty good at the head of the table. Now, supposedly, from what I've been reading, the rumor is, despite the fact that it's a perfect WrestleMania main event, they want the main event at WrestleMania with Roman to be for the title with Cody Rhodes, presumably when Cody wins and finishes the story, as he's been going on about for about 2 years now. So, they may be doing Rock Roman at Elimination Chamber, which is okay, but I really wanted it at WrestleMania. But either way, I'm really excited for The Rock to be back. He's my favorite ever, and I'm excited to finally see Rock versus Roman, the match we've been waiting for like 5 years. So, welcome back, Rock, and I can't wait to see what this match and this storyline entails.
But as we keep it moving, as always, college basketball is underway. Conference play, like I've alluded to. I've been following USF Bulls, FAU, been going to a few games, Florida, everybody like that. The transfer portal has been big this year. It's been a big, big name. Everyone's either love it or hate it. There's no in between, really. So where do you think that the transfer portal has affected the most? Do you think it affects the college football or college basketball the most? And I guess why, of course. So, Grandpa Jay, take us away.
All right, so here's my take on this, right? And like we alluded to earlier in the show, we spoke about how we had no clear-cut number one in college football. In college basketball, probably the biggest thing we saw leave was Caleb Love, who was on a potential national championship team. You don't really see someone jump ship when you have a lot of key starters coming back and you can make another deep run because the ACC is not that deep. So I think they could have made a better run, and they're showing that. They're doing what they couldn't do last year, hitting free throws and playing better defense. So North Carolina's back. So it's weird that someone like that leave, but he goes to Arizona and he instantly makes them better. Here's the difference in college football. You have a guy like Michael Penix Jr. leave Indiana who never had a shot at a national championship. Now you go to a team where you figure you can build around him to win a national championship, and it shows up. I feel like it benefits football teams more because the one key position that you can improve at, which we know is quarterback, can really put you in the mix all of a sudden and take you over the edge from potential conference champion to undefeated conference champion. And in the case of Washington, now you have a chance to play for a national championship. So I feel like it's offering parity on both sides. I think it proved much more to benefit a football team than a basketball team because we know that Arizona can get knocked out in the first or second round. I think, and we said it from the beginning, I think we all knew that Washington was going to end up being in the playoffs this year and have a chance to win a national championship. So I feel that's the biggest difference where the transfer portal opens up the opportunity for you to be a national champion almost instantly if you hit the right guy at the right position. We know it's quarterback. I don't think we're there yet in college basketball where you have that absolute home run hitter that transfers from one team to the next year. Like that team is definitely winning that bracket there in the Final Four tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I get you on that, right? Football is always going to be king in college sports, whether they want to admit it or not. They are going to be king at the end of the day. And the biggest splash, right? I didn't see Michael Penix Jr. coming out and doing what he did this year. I thought he was a good quarterback for Indiana. I thought he was good. Fortunately, he had 2 torn ACLs. That concerned me. But I didn't think, Washington got Michael Penix their national champion immediately. When he showed up the first week of the game and we saw him, yeah. But I think in the long run, for the sport, it's affected college basketball better because there's more parity now in college basketball. It's our favorite word to say is parity. And I just learned how to spell it lately, so that's always good too. So thanks, Mike. But with college basketball, you're seeing a lot more non-conference. I mean, we watched it all year, Jay. I mean, we watched some non-conference games. And it's like, what the hell? Like FAU taking down Arizona. We saw
but then losing the Florida Gulf Coast the week after.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what I'm talking about. Is just like the transfers can help these teams as a depth piece, right? And I think that's more key than a star player transferring. You're rarely going to see a star either go to the NBA or go to the transfer portal, like you were saying. But if you can get some key depth pieces, that can immediately make your team, okay, well, let's look out for this team, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what teams have been doing lately. The mid-majors are now starting to stand up and be like, hey, we're something. And shout out to FAU for doing that and like teams like that. I mean, I went to that Orange Bowl Classic. There was an average of 8 transfers per team. That's especially crazy. Florida. Maybe Florida had the less. I think Florida had 4. No, I think they had 4 or 5.
They had 7 last year. So
okay, so I thought I saw 4 or 5, but even so, 4 or 5 transfer, that's huge, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at college basketball, it makes a tournament better. It makes a conference championship, but it also makes a non-conference better because they are competing with college football, NFL, NBA, now the NBA in-season tournament, NHL a little bit. So they're competing with all these sports. They needed to get this non-conference right. I mean, we went to Maui and we saw all these teams, Marquette. Obviously, I'm going to be biased. Syracuse was there. Kansas, Purdue. All these top teams were there. It's a great tournament, and you're interested to watch even non-ranked games. Like at one point, I was watching Illinois play. I forget who they were playing, but it's like, damn, Illinois is going to be dangerous. And
it might be Michigan State, wasn't there something?
It might have been something in a non-conference early or a conference early play. But just looking at college basketball landscape, it's helped the game and allow these mid-majors, like you said, compete where Arizona is not safe. Purdue obviously is not safe. They got knocked off by Farley Dickinson. So Farley Dickinson. But you look at these teams and it just shows in the games and the competitiveness. The coaches are what are benefiting too, because seeing all these transfers, that's where you have to win. So I agree with like Deion Sanders saying, like, I'm going to the transfer portal first. That's where a lot of these college basketball coaches are going now. Hey, I'm going to get some veteran heavy players right now, boost my roster, and now I'm a tournament team, right? So, TreyDay, what do you think?
For me, it's definitely college football that I would say it affects more, and partly because of the structure of what a football team is built and how football is versus basketball. Part of the reason to me it can't be basketball is because the one and done is overrated. There aren't as many one and done as people think. Last year there were only 20 freshmen that went to the draft. Now you're starting to take certain people out because now you're starting to have the G League and stuff like that. So you're starting to take people out. But the structure of football just makes it where the transfer portal to me is always going to mean more. Partly because of what we just said there. If you're a top player, I don't got to transfer. I'm going to the pros. If I'm a top freshman, I don't get in. Like, let's say he's not going to do it. But let's say you were Manning. In most cases, the average guy at that point transfers. Now he starts somewhere else. The same person who is, let's say, Manning in college basketball probably just never even went there to wait on the bench. You're willing to wait on the bench in college football, which then gives you more chance to transfer 2 or 3 times, where you can literally revamp a whole team like overnight like that. Even to go back to what John just said at Syracuse, look how you just revamped your whole program like that. Syracuse being a kind of middling football team, and how he comes in and says, all right, I'm going to get these recruits, but then I'm going to go get a quarterback from Ohio State. I'm going to go try to go get a defensive lineman from Georgia. I mean, you can get it to an extent, but you can go get literally top flight people who are not draft eligible to come over to your team in college football and college basketball. Them dudes ain't going to stay to have that opportunity to basically have, that type of transfer. The other thing when we talk about the structure of that too is in college basketball, I think if the coach is wise enough, there are ways, and they'll do it over time, to keep your guy in college basketball to stay. You got positionless basketball. So let's say if I'm a guard and I lose my spots, well, I could maybe bump you to forward. Maybe we run, the old Villanova 3-4 guard lineup, something of that sort. If I'm a quarterback and I'm in football, I got to go because you're screwed in that case. If you're a kicker, you're screwed. I mean, if you're a DB, maybe you get on the field, but if you're not on but so much, maybe it's only with so many linebackers. Like football structure is more of we don't rotate as much. You can be a 6 man and be a value. The backup linebacker is literally waiting on an injury or to play on special teams. So I just think the structure just is always going to naturally skew it to college football, meaning more to the transfer portal of basketball, not the basketball. I mean, we've seen the effect of it. I mean, you see what a couple of years ago, Beta had all those old ass dudes out there playing You know, when they went to, so
NBA eligible guys that are
all those
in
fathers were out there at Baylor playing, you know, with the children. And they went deep in the tourney a couple years ago. But
also, like to your point too, right? I think that if you look at that landscape, like you said, you're much more likely to have a diaper dandy in basketball come in and be a major contributor if one of your transfers was a bust. Not the same in football. Like if the transfer ends up being a bust, a freshman's not going to come in and have as big of an impact. So, you know, but we don't really see that. Like we do see teams hitting home runs in the transfer portal for football, more in basketball, because you need them to mesh more in basketball than you do in football. Like someone could be a standout player and affect the game at his position only.
I mean, all of our Heisman candidates were transfers this year. I mean, even when you say turn around, I mean, as a quick example, but look how quick Ohio State, when we were like in limbo, and then Justin Fields jumps up, leaves Georgia because he can't start. And next thing you know, Ohio State's on a 2-year run with Fields. In basketball, if the Justin Fields basketball is this, he just would have fucking went pro probably. And said, fuck it, I'm probably still, because I'm such a high prospect, I can basically go in there with no film and probably.
Or the G League, right? One of them.
Yeah, I would just go to the G League. Like, fuck this Georgia shit. I'm going to the G League. In that case, Justin Fields has to go to Ohio State or somewhere to go finish his job. But Mike, what you got for us?
So I think you guys make good points on both sides. The thing that stands out, Trey, what you said about how in basketball, obviously, like because of the rules, you can leave after your freshman year. So if you're a high prospect, you know, you're going to leave after your freshman year or after your sophomore year as soon as you're considered NBA ready in any respect, you tend to leave. But I think there's a flip side to that. So I'm going to say college basketball because I think there's a flip side to that where because you're having these kids leave so early, and because obviously the rosters are a lot smaller in college basketball than they are in college football, just like the rosters are a lot smaller in high school basketball than they are in football. You have a smaller pool of really good prospects to pull from. So if you can't recruit when all of a sudden, you know, this sophomore goes, oh no, I'm just going to go to the league, or I'm going to go to the G League. I'm done with this college shit. Like, okay, all of a sudden I didn't get this recruiting class, or wasn't able to get a recruit that I feel can comfortably replace this guy that I didn't know I was losing. Now with the transfer rules, the new transfer rules where you can get guys without having to have them sit. Oh, sweet. And I'm going to use a personal example. I'll actually use a personal example in a way from North Carolina. Caleb Love leaves, right? All of a sudden he's leaving UNC, he's going to Arizona. Like, okay, shit. What do? We've already got our recruiting class, but we got Seth Trimble and he's coming in and that's great, but we don't know if he's ready. Oh shit. Cormac Ryan's leaving Notre Dame and we need shooters anyway. We need guys that can hit free throws and deep shots to be able to keep up with the run and gun teams that we weren't able to keep up with last year in the tournament, or not even in the tournament, in an ACC tournament. Okay, cool. We got Cormac Ryan. Now he starts every night. And we have a veteran guy. He's a grad transfer. We have a veteran guy who knows how to play in the ACC against all these teams. He's familiar with what all these different ACC teams run. I, as a fan, and now I got to imagine Hubert Davis and this coaching staff, feel more comfortable now with the fact that we have this veteran presence that knows how to play and knows us, knows them, and we now feel more comfortable in totality playing in the ACC. So while I understand like you can get a lot of really good impact guys in college football, I feel like the margin for error in getting impact guys, whether it's by recruiting or by the transfer portal, is a lot more narrow in college basketball as far as just the amount of guys you can roster.
Yeah,
good point.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, when you look at the transfers, I think it just depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at the league, like I was looking at the totality of college basketball versus college football,
right?
You know, that's where I was leaning. Trey makes a great point on the players.
Yes,
a player impact, and Grandpa Jay. I'm glad I kept them over there today. So,
yeah, I feel like Mike feels sorry for you all show long. He's like, John, you had such a bad 2023. I'm just gonna agree with everything you say, except the Yankees bullshit you pulled out of your.
Yeah, buddy. High five, buddy. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right.
Also, William Brothers.
Right.
We're doing the emoji. That's actually a slapping hands, not a praying emoji, by the way, if you didn't know.
No,
but yeah, I think I think you were saying, like you were saying, Trey, that you know the players are affected more in college football because, like Joe Burrow, Joe Cool. I mean, he had 1 year eligibility left. Transfers over to LSU, wins the Heisman, has probably one of the best teams in college football history, and just dominates
college football history.
Right. I mean, he just dominated. So it's unreal that you as a player can just go and just change your setting in that aspect. But I think the transfer portal, I think we all agree, has been amazing when you can go and play immediately. I think that's been the biggest, huge, change that the collegiate sports has done, and that's awesome.
Shout out to my guy, Big Cozy. Big Cozy, if y'all don't know, that's Connor Williams. He went viral last year. Big Cozy is 7 foot, 360 pounds. He's a big fella, but he's actually light on his feet considering how big he is. Big Cozy is a junior at St. John Fisher University. And the reason I'm shouting him out is just because I like to shout out the big fellas. I'm a big fella myself, so I got to shout out when I see big fellas doing things they don't expect us to do out there. But not to mention, Big Cozy was a two-sport athlete, played football in high school, plays basketball now. He's got some NIL deals, does some work with Barstool. He's actually got a couple T-shirts and things such as that, which he's endorsing. One of the things I do love of him is he's taking some of his NIL money, and he's actually contributing to some camps for some underprivileged youth who can't afford to go to basketball camps. So I really love seeing that. So I just got to shout out the big fellas. Anytime I see y'all where it goes big country, whether we look at Lorenzen, RIP, who went to Kentucky, played quarterback a few years, and this time I'm going to shout out Big Cozy. Shout out to you, Big.
Let's take it away, boys. It's getting late. We need to go to Stump the Squad. I need to not get eliminated today. So let's take it away, Jay, to Stump the Squad.
All right, boys and girls, and all you crazy people out there, it's our favorite time in the show. It is Stump the Squad. This is when we ask each other a series of questions to see who we can stump. If you get it right, you get +2. If you get it wrong, you get -2. We know it all, so sometimes we just mess with you guys to make you feel like we don't. Hey, we got to keep it fun, right? But here's the deal. The person who has the most wins at show 100 gets crowned King of the Stump or King of the Stump the Squad. Whatever you guys want to phrase it at. I kind of like King of the Stump because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get my crown on and win that Stump the Squad 100 show is where we're going to do it. So you guys got to stay tuned up until then. But let's take it away, boys. You know what it is. This ain't Mikey Mike. This is Grandpa Jay. I don't feel sorry for John. One shit. We're knocking him out this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to put him to rest. May his sorrows no longer linger for the rest of 2024. You guys know the deal already.
Put him in the car.
You know the deal already. We aim to stump each other every week. We know everything, so we just get it wrong on purpose so you guys can feel good about yourself when you're like, I know that, and you get it right, and we don't. So let's take it away, Trey. I want to hear what you got to say.
Yep, so a lot of talk about overs, unders, all these type of things when it comes to colleges and bowls, and it's bowl season, it's almost the end of it. So we're going to get one more last quick bowl fact in. Today's question is, how many bowl games in the history of bowl games have ended with a score of 0-0?
Oh, go back to 0-0 again?
Yes. Bowl games, historically, 0-0. 4, 9, 12, or 16?
9.
12.
Jay's going 9.
4, 9, 12, or 16. I'm going to say 4.
John's going 4. Mike's going 12.
Well,
Jay's going 9.
I think Mike's
Well,
right.
looks like John's on a strong start. He's the only person I didn't stump today. Not eliminated him yet. But go ahead. Let's eliminate him now. Go ahead, John. Your turn.
I'm still alive.
Let's not give him momentum.
that's nice.
Who you want, me next?
Yes, I want you next.
Yeah,
We're not giving you momentum.
Damn, bro. Appreciate you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yep. And fuck Blue, too.
Go Blue? Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We can edit that.
All right, so since the national championship is on Monday, got to give you guys a national championship question. Which national championship in college football era, in the college football playoff era, had the largest attendance? Was it the 14-15 or Ohio State, Oregon, 15-16 Bama, Clemson, 17-18 Bama, Georgia, 19-20 LSU, Clemson? And that's 2019 and 2020.
Right.
1920.
Wait, you said again?
I'm sorry. 14-15, Ohio State and Oregon. 15-16, Bama, Clemson. 19-20, LSU, Clemson. 17-18, Bama, Georgia.
17-18, Bama, Georgia.
Ohio State, Oregon.
Trey?
I'm gonna go with the gut. It's probably wrong, but I'm gonna go with gut. Bama, Clemson.
Bama, Clemson.
I think that was here in Tampa, so I don't think the capacity was big enough for it.
Mike, today I have successfully stumped Grandpa Jay and Mike. It is the first college football playoff with a whopping. Actually, I won't do that.
85,000. It's the number. I already know it.
Guys, why is it the Rose Bowl?
It's 85,000.
All right. Well,
I'm actually saying because I actually knew that because I almost used that question.
Damn it.
Oh, you did?
I knew that.
I was worried about someone not using that shit. I was like, God damn it.
All right, come here. Bring it down here, John. Bring it down.
All right, we're going to Grandpa Jay.
Bring it down here so I don't go to -6.
One thing on that real quick, John.
Yeah, go ahead.
20, is that the COVID year? One of those is the COVID year, which is like 14,000. Or is
no, I was trying to trick you because LSU and Clemson was in New Orleans, and it was the year before COVID, and it's the third largest. The next one's Bama, Ohio State.
Which is 14,000.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I memorized the numbers, so I was like, I already know it's 85,000 for that. But yeah, go ahead, Jay. I just had to.
All right, so we're sticking with the national championship theme. This might be a mulligan for you guys. Let's see if you know this. Last time Washington won a Natty championship was in 1991. Who did they share that national championship with? Was it Georgia Tech? You heard the question?
No, I didn't.
The last time Washington won a Natty championship was in 1991. Who did they share the national championship with that year? Was it A, Georgia Tech, B, FSU, C, the U of Miami, or D, Penn State?
Miami.
Gentlemen.
What was our answer again?
Georgia Tech, FSU, the University of Miami, or Penn State?
Penn State.
When did Georgia Tech win the consensus? Because it was then. It was around then. Yeah, but Bubba, tell me.
Bubba, who is it? Come here, boy.
Was it Danny Cannell's FSU?
Oh, Jesus. He's been annoying as hell, by the way.
Yeah, he really has. Or was it Miami before Jimmy left? Don't give me the clock. There's this time. Oh, I guess we'll go with the gut. I think they went undefeated the year before, but still won the national championship the year after. Georgia Tech.
All right, gentlemen. We done gone and fucked up and give John a win for the week because I have stumped everybody except John. It was the University of Miami, and all 4 of those teams are ranked in the top 3.
Bubba, yeah.
Wait, that's not a win for John.
No, it's not a win for me yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet? Oh.
No, because Trey has 2. Trey has 2.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah. I thought Trey had 0. Okay.
You have Mike 4. Yeah, Bubba, cheer for me. Thanks, I appreciate you.
Mike, me and you are out, so it's between Trey and John.
Yep.
Yes. No. Yeah. If I get it wrong, and Trey gets it right.
Okay.
You're both at 2?
No, I'm at 4. He's at 0.
Yeah.
Wow. Go ahead, Mike. You know what to do. Ohio State.
Fortunately, no, I don't know what Ohio State.
He's cheering for me, babe. Sorry, guys.
Okay, so I'll round it out.
Come on, Trey.
I'll round it out with a national championship question.
Ooh la la.
During the time when national champions were crowned before bowl season, how many college football national champions went on to lose their bowl games?
For the following year.
No, that year because they crowned
that year. They were named.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
They were named national champions before they played any bowl games. So how many were named the consensus national champion and then lost? A, 8. B, 9. C, 10. Or D, 11.
Don't
Thanks,
be creative.
Mouth
Don't be creative with it. Or
Thanks, Mike.
Well,
I said, give me a 10. She looks like a 10. I give it a 10.
Hey, Jamie says 10 with a southern accent, which I enjoy.
9.
John goes 9.
John's on Fuego, Trey. You got to go that way.
Going 8.
Oh.
Okay, so we got Trey at 8, John at 9, Jamie at 10.
Let's take it
the squad. Look at that smirk. He stumped the squad. Look at that.
OT.
He will survive because as long as he can answer questions, John gets it at 9.
John had a perfect week this week.
Boom, boom, boom.
Maybe the stars are aligning. Maybe Michigan does win on Monday night. Who knows?
Maybe. Hold on. I have dance on a big screen.
He's twerking.
Yeah, you just can't.
That's twerking.
Yep, that's twerking.
That's a twerk up north, right, Trey?
Yep.
Let's get it. So that brings Jamie to 10, Trey with 5, Mike with 3, and I survive with my 3rd win.
Ooh.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, Jay.
You know what?
I'm coming for you.
I'll even put you at number 3.
Oh, shit. Yeah, because
I'm now in technical last.
Right? By default, the most recent dub?
Yes.
Well,
nice of you. Mike, did John give you a bonus or something for the show? You're showing him all the love today, bro.
Can I say? The man's a smart man.
He slipped me a text now.
Way to survive, bro. Way to survive. Coming through
It's
in
9.
I guess I switched sides over here because everyone's on the other side now. So, yes, that's Stump the Squad. We have 7 more episodes until we crown that champion. Could it be Jay? Could it be me? Or could it be TreyDay? Or Mike? We'll see. We'll see.
I don't know. I could go on an 8 Stump the Squad heater again. You never know.
Oh yeah, I know.
I can go on a 7 Stump the Squad heater.
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
Well, fellas, a way to start off the year with a lot of energy. Can't wait for 2024. We have a lot in store, and especially with going to games. So make sure you see us out at games. Come see us. Shout us out. And any final thoughts heading into championship weekend?
The Peterkin house will be divided.
Go Huskies.
The Peterkin house will be divided as Liverpool and Arsenal square off in the FA Cup. Let's see who takes this one. You know where I'm leaning.
Of course.
Arsenal.
You got to like the FA Cup. It's I didn't know this, but that's what the NBA in-season tournament was molded by.
Based off of? Oh, nice. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Huh.
JJ Watts informed me today. So,
except it's a different format. The FA Cup is just knockout, and lower division teams can play up.
No, the jersey
teams and stuff. So
no,
everybody.
All I have left after this week. It's all I have. I have to wait so long for UNC to hopefully be contending. They're good though. Go Rangers.
No, Trey, that's not the jersey that he was talking about.
Oh, it's not that jersey.
No.
This one has another story.
This one does have another story.
Yeah, I thought it was that.
That might be trouble in the waters of Tampa too. Tampa might be without Baker Mayfield.
No, actually, coincidentally, Jay, don't say Tampa when I bring up that story.
Very true. But Cal Trask might be in. So if we want the Carolina Panthers to look the worst team in football, let's go Cal Trask, get that dub.
And you might be playing my boys in the game. So Eagles need hats off to AJ Brown kind of come out and being the leader that he was in the game. And the team, he came out today and said, I'm gonna talk to the media, kind of stood up for everybody. The final play of the game was actually on the players, not the coach. And the coach decided to fall on the sword for him. So hats off to our coaching staff. I think this is going to ignite the team this week. And sorry, Mike, it has to be against your boys, but we may be coming to Tampa again and revenging that loss to Brady. So we'll see you here next week, episode 93 of Cinco Squad. Make sure you tune on to our socials. Can't wait to see Cinco Squad Pod 05. And we'll see you guys here, or 05, I'm sorry. We'll see you guys here next week. Cinco Squad out.
Trey, Steelers in or out? Say it quick.
And